Hey, this is Neil Patrick Harris. You're watching the Broadway.com show.
Welcome to a special all-Tony edition of the Broadway.com show, your video guide to the speeches, the showstoppers, and everything else you need to know about the 2013 Tony Awards. Or as we like to think of it, your DVR conflict with Game of Thrones. Let's start off with the news. What's the buzz, Josh?
Looks like everybody said yeah. Kinky Boots was the big winner at the 2013 Tony Awards, picking up 6 awards including Best Musical, Best Actor for Billy Porter, and Best Score for Cyndi Lauper. Pippin was the other big musical winner of the night, taking home Best Revival, a Best Director trophy for Diane Paulus, and acting prizes for leading player Patina Miller and featured funny lady Andrea Martin. Matilda didn't go home empty-handed either. The acclaimed British import won 4, including a featured Tony for the hilarious Gabriel Ebert. Congrats to all.
George and Martha also won big at the Tonys. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf took home the trophy for Best Revival of a Play, and star Tracy Letts snagged the award for Best Actor, beating out heavy hitters Tom Hanks and Nathan Lane. Letts' victory also made history. He's the first Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright to also win a Tony for acting. Plus, he's the only George we knew who ditched Martha and made off with Honey. That's right, Letts and Virginia Woolf Tony nominee Carrie Coon are officially engaged. Mazel tov! This calls for some brandy.
The votes are in, and Billy Porter is the winner of the Broadway.com poll for the Best Acceptance Speech of the 2013 Tonys. The Kinky Boots star said a mouthful accepting his Best Actor in a Musical trophy. Quoting Shakespeare, shouting out Jennifer Holliday and her legendary Dreamgirls Tony number, thanking Stark Sands, Cyndi Lauper, Harvey Fierstein, Jerry Mitchell, his glam squad, his teachers, his manager, his sister, and his Pittsburgh mama, who loves him for who he is. We love you too, Billy. Congratulations.
Christopher Rang's Best Play Tony win for the delightful Vanya and Sonia and Masha and Spike should serve as an inspiration to every young playwright. In a career spanning more than 3 decades, Durang had never had a Broadway hit, and comedies rarely take home the top prize at the Tonys. It's a sweet victory indeed for a very deserving theater pro.
And for his final act as the host of the 2013 Tony Awards, Neil Patrick Harris brought the largest viewership since 2009. CBS's live telecast saw viewership jump to over 7 million people, the show's largest audience in 4 years. The ceremony, which featured appearances by big-name stars like Tom Hanks, Jake Gyllenhaal, Scarlett Johansson, and Sally Field, saw an increase of more than 1 million people over last year's show. Now that deserves a standing ovation. Suck it, Game of Thrones finale.
Hey, I'm Condola Rashad, and you are watching the Broadway.com show.
Last year's big Tony winner Steve Kazee may not have made it to this year's awards, but the former one-star still managed to make us laugh while also earning today's Tweet of the Week. During the ceremony, Kazee tweeted, "Last year, won Tony Award. This year, 5 hours away driving to NYC and just got a $200 speeding ticket. I'll take last year." Don't worry, Steve. Compared to the price of a ticket to the Tonys, $200 is nothing. You can follow this speedy Tony winner at Steve Kazee.
In last week's Smackdown, we asked which recently recorded off-Broadway musical deserves to make the leap to the Great White Way, and 100% of those voting chose Dogfight over Giant. This week, we're all about Tony fashion, specifically the gowns that topped Broadway.com's Best Dressed list worn by Tony winner Patina Miller and Tony nominee Annaleigh Ashford. They're both fabulous, but very different, so we want to know your choice as the hottest look of the night. Patina's flowing Zac Posen ball gown, or Annaleigh's gold sheath by Novus. Tweet your favorite to Broadway.com with the hashtag B'way Smackdown and tune in next week for the winner.
Tony nominees get interviewed a lot during the 6 weeks between the nominations announcement and the ceremony. But there are only so many times we can hear about how honored and blessed they are. So we decided to ask the nominees something ridiculous just for fun. Check out their responses to the question, who is your favorite celebrity named Tony, in this week's Pop Poll.
I have to say Toni Morrison.
Tony Franciosa, because when I was a kid, he and Frank Sue did a TV show called Valentine's Day.
Tony Shalhoub, that's my baby. Tony Sheldon Steen. Tony Shalhoubowitz.
Danza.
Tony Bennett.
Tony Curtis.
Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Bennett, of course.
I'd have to throw a Shalhoub in there right now, a Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Danza showed up to my birthday party actually this past weekend. I thought that was kind of funny.
Oh God, my brain's numb. The guy who eats people. Anthony, Tony, what's his name? Hopkins. I love him.
Tony the Tiger.
Tony Bennett. Handsome, even now.
Tony Shalhoub.
Bennett.
Tony the Tiger, Tony the Tiger. I'm an animal lover.
And now, how about a round of applause for Tony host Neil Patrick Harris? It may have been his 4th time hosting, but NPH proved that he's still keeping things fresh with his pitch-perfect comedy bits and a killer opening number that may rank among Tony's all-time greatest. Congratulations on a 4th year, Neil. Now, when do you have to start planning round 5?
We hate to rain on any winner's parade, but we can't help but give a thumbs down to Emily Mann for hogging the mic during Vanya and Sonia and Masha and Spike's Best Play win. Yes, we know the award is shared between playwright Christopher Durang and his producers, and we know that Mann's McCarter Theater commissioned the play in the first place, but we wanted to hear Durang speak, not Mann. After she spoke on and on for a minute and a half, she finally gave the mic to Durang, who had just 30 seconds before getting played off the stage. Sorry, but we think the great Durang deserved more of a moment.
I'm David Hyde Pierce, and you're watching the Broadway.com show.
The red carpet at Radio City on Tony Night can be a place of high anxiety, but as we see in this week's stunning hot shot by Broadway.com photographer Bruce Glickus, it can also be a place of unbridled joy. Check out the marvelous matching smiles of Kinky Boots star Billy Porter and Pippin's Patina Miller as they greeted each other on the big night. And believe it or not, these were their happy faces before they both won Tonys.
The Tony Awards featured a dozen incredible performances this year, from host Neil Patrick Harris's bombastic opening number, to Motown the Musical's Out of Sight medley, to Bring It On's backflip-filled hip-hop dance-off. We rated all of the routines ourselves, but we also asked our readers to weigh in on what their favorite showstopper of the night was in our poll. Here's how Broadway's biggest fans voted. At number 5 is Cinderella's enchanting medley of In My Own Little Corner, It's Possible, and 10 Minutes Ago. Coming in at number 4 is Matilda's magical mix of Revolting Children, When I Grow Up, and Naughty. Landing in the number 3 spot is Pippin's dynamic 1-2 punch of Corner of the Sky and Magic to Do. At number 2 is the side-splitting failed TV medley featuring Andrew Rannells, Laura Benanti, and Megan Hilty. And the top spot goes to Neil Patrick Harris's amazing and hyperkinetic opening number, Make It Bigger.
Our star of the week has a shiny new trophy to stick on her mantle. Kinky Boots composer Cyndi Lauper won the Tony for Best Score, making her the first female composer in history to receive the honor without a writing partner. And it couldn't have happened to a classier lady. After her touching acceptance speech, Lauper sang a heart-wrenching rendition of True Colors for the ceremony's In Memoriam tribute. Her new trophy will look fabulous next to her Grammy and Emmy award. Wait a second, does this mean Miss Lauper is only one Oscar away from an EGOT? Let's make this happen, people. Congratulations, Cyndi. You're our star of the week.
That's all for our Tony-tastic episode of the Broadway.com show. We leave you with a video clip of that acceptance speech that you all love so much. See you next week. Now take it away, Billy Porter.
When I was 11 years old, my journey to truth began when I discovered the Tony Awards, washing dishes in my kitchen, and the performance of Jennifer Holliday and the cast of Dreamgirls on the Tony Awards took my breath away. That moment, it changed my life. To Harvey Fierstein and Cyndi Lauper, who created the template that allows for me to express the journey of forgiveness and acceptance, and ultimately a necessary healing for my soul. God bless you, I love you, I love you, I love you.